Hello, this video presentation is about graphing when the leading coefficient is not 1. We're going to look at a case where it's 2 and then where it's a fraction. So to start with, I want to just make a simple table of values. You're not going to make a table of values, but I want to see what happens. So we're going to have an x and a y. And I see that my vertex is at 3, negative 1. So 1, 2, 3, negative 1. So I'm going to pick points at 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we know it's symmetrical about the axis of symmetry, which will make graphing this very simple. All right, when x is 4, 4 minus 3 is 1, 1 squared is 1, times 2 gives me 1. So instead of going up 1, because 1 squared is 1, I went up 1 squared, 1 times 2 is 2. Now we're going to go 5. 5 minus 3 is 2. 2 squared is 4. 4 times 2 is 8 minus 1 is 7. So instead of going up 4, I went up 4 times 2 from here, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm at 7 because it's from negative 1. 6 minus 3, 3 squared is 9, times 2 is 18. So 9 times 2 is 18, minus 1 puts me at 17. So I go over 3. Instead of going up 3 squared is 9, I'm going up 18 from this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh boy, let me mark my axis. Okay, I've got my axis marked, so it's a little bit easier to graph. All right, so 17, 5, 10, 15, 16, 17. And lastly, 7 minus 3 is 4, squared is 16, times 2 is 32, minus 1 is 31. And I'm off my graph. But really, all I'm doing is using my numbers that I used before, 1, 4, 9, and multiplying them by 2. Nothing more than that. So axis symmetry here, over 1 here, and here. My graph looks like My graph looks like this. Don't forget, I want to see arrows at the top. Get my eraser out and clean up this mess. All right, now let's look at when it's a fraction. All right, now this is a little more complicated when we have a fraction, but it's the same principle. So now we're going to make our table of values, x, y, and when you graph, you're actually not going to use the table of values. My axis of symmetry is at negative 6, 1. I'm going to make a dot there. And then we're going to go with negative 5, negative 4, negative 3. Negative 5 plus 6, 1 squared, times a half gives me a fraction. Don't want to do that. Negative 4 plus 6 is 2, squared is 4, times 1/2 is 2, plus 1 puts me up at 3. So when I go over 2 and square it, I get 4. That's not right. Hold on a sec. All right. 4 times 1/2 is 2, plus 1 is 3. My pen to work here. So I'm up right here. So normally, when you're at, man, am I struggling with this. There we go. Normally, when you go over 2 squares, 2 squared is 4 up, but we're multiplying by 1/2. Negative 3 gives me 3, squared is 9. I'm going to get a fraction. So I'm going to go to negative 2, gives me 4. Negative 2 plus 6 is 4. Squared is 16. Times 1/2 is 8, plus 1 puts me at 9. So at negative 2, I'm at 9. If I put in negative 1, I'm going to get a fraction again. So I go to 0. 0 plus 6 is 6. Squared is 36. Times 1/2 is 18. Plus 1 is 19. So when I'm at 0, 5, 10, 15, 19, and after that, I'm going to be off my graph. But instead of 2 squared is 4, we multiply that by the coefficient. Instead of 4 squared is 16, we take that 16, multiply it by the coefficient. Now again, we take advantage of the fact that we have an axis of symmetry. And 2 squares, 4 squares, 1, 2, 3, 4. And 6 squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we sketch our graph. Hopefully you do it neater than I'm doing it. Remember, this is a curve. Ooh, not bad, Muscat. Arrows, and we're done. All right, that's all there is to it. Just remember the numbers, 1, 4, 9, 16. You're either going to multiply by a fraction or you're going to multiply by a whole number, but you're multiplying by the coefficient. All right, let's try to do the homework.